can you just describe that, what that actually is like following these big fires?
Usually, you get a call, and it's usually a lot smaller than like it starts out small. Usually by the time we're usually the first ones to kind of get there, and then we just assess it. Usually, because there's so many variables to it also, but usually we're the first ones there, so we just assess what is going on, give a bit of an intel back to the IC, which is the incident controller, or their kind of air ops, depending on what's going on and who's in charge. We just radio back and just give them a bit of a size of what it is, what it's doing, where it's burning, and what assets are under threat. Assets being houses, like sheds, all that kind of thing.
Livestock?
Yeah, livestock. That's sometimes a problem. There's plenty of times where livestock are trapped in paddocks, and we've had situations before you land and cut the fence and let the livestock out. They're usually cooped up in one corner. The big thing, I guess, last year was that the erratic fire behaviour. You kind of get used to the way a fire burns and with the wind behind it and what it does. But last year, it seemed to do things that we'd never really seen it do before. Like burn fast downhills on the southern side of the gullies, and just lots of, instead of like, quite often you turn up to a fire and it's like there's one fire edge, and and it might be burning off down one side and the wind's pushing it one way, and it's all very, I don't know, not very kind of predictable, But I remember, must have been about September last year, we were working on a fire. This all kind of, they all blend together. I was around Glen Innes somewhere, the eastern side of Glen Innes, up in the ranges there, and they said, you got to go to Casino to help out up there. So we packed all their gear up and we headed up to Casino. And as we come over the ranges there was literally fire just everywhere. Everywhere you looked, like there was fire, but it was patchy, there wasn't just one line and one fire. There was like fires everywhere, and sheds burning and plantations burning and timber mills burning, and you're just like, oh my goodness, like what's going on here? Like, and it didn't even really make any sense, like normally you can kind of get your head around it pretty quick. And I've seen a bit of that before, but it was just everywhere, so you just land and get all your set up and put the water bucket on, and then they put you to work. And usually there's what they call an air attack supervisor flying around in a helicopter. He's usually either a national parks guy trained or a RFS guy that's there, and they've got a lot of experience, and they're running the fire, the air ops and the fire ground, so to speak. And so you just call them and they'll tell you where to go. But we were so stretched that these air attack guys didn't even know. They're just like, oh, mate, I don't know, pick a spot and start working, because we can't even get a head around it, And it sounds like, oh, how come? But when you throw smoke and fire everywhere, you can't even really see. You're just literally crawling through soup, visibility soup, to get out there. You can just get out, and then you come across, oh, there's a fire, and it sounds like you just can't see. You can't see more than, half a kilometre.
Okay.
And it's just and so it's just whatever you can kind of find.
How high is the smoke?
Oh, you don't lose the reference to the ground.
You just stay preference. Yeah,
you
okay.
got to basically you're crawling around treetops
Mm-hmm.
trying to find where you are. So, and you know, you got your GPS and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just pinpoint, and I just went out, I started working, and I just went out, and then, yeah, like there's literally houses about to burn, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people with hoses and buckets, and it's like, what are you doing here? Like, you know, because they weren't used to, it was the biggest thing, people weren't used to the erratic fire behaviour, and it's caught everyone by surprise. And it's all to do with low humidity, low ground moisture levels, and you know, you get a bit of wind behind it, and then it just throws spots everywhere, and then you've got new fires everywhere. You know, it just keeps growing like that. So,
Do you find yourself in a position like rescuing people out of there? Like, is that part of a role that you take on?
yeah, we had a bit of that. Most times people go, or we radio ground crews to try to get the trucks in to go and warn people. But I was just flying air attack on the Canberra fire, just on the what's the name of the place? Just east of Canberra there, and yeah, well, I was flying the air attack guy around, and like there were people, the fire was screaming along. People had no idea how fast it was moving. So we were landing at houses, telling people, go, you know, just get out of here. Because they really, like, it gets dark and they just have no clue. And I mean, some people are pretty savvy to it, but a lot of people aren't. And they just think, people just think that they can just stay and save their home.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, so casino, actually, we were working up there, and a friend of mine was flying another helicopter, and he was water bucketing on a house, and he noticed there was an elderly couple outside, and then he went to get a bucket of water, and they'd gone in the house, but the house had caught on fire. And they lost those two people. Two elderly people. Two elderly people died that day. So, you know, it's things like that. Like, he felt, poor fellow, he felt really responsible for that, you know. So yeah, there's lots of stories. I've been doing it for it's been my 12th season now. So 12 years. So yeah, I've seen a lot.